in God's universe and in my child.
شكرا جزيلا السيد جايكوب بندر على هذا العرض، والذي ساهمت الموسيقى التصويرية والإخراج الجيد في التعبير أكثر فأكثر عن مضمونه، وإن كنت أنتظر كما قلنا في البداية عن عرض تجربة للتعايش الإسلامي المسيحي اليهودي في الأندلس وقرطبة بشكل خاص، لكن جاء عرض آخر وربما هذه الرسالة يريد سيد جايكوب أن يوصلها إلى جمهور المشاهدين. أسأله عن مضمون هذه الرسالة التي يريد إيصالها من خلال هذا الفيلم.
The content, the message in the film is that we can be inspired by looking back at the past, particularly the period of Jewish, Muslim, Christian convivencia, coexistence in Muslim Spain in Al-Andalus, and be inspired by that time and use that inspiration from the past to try to create more interfaith understanding in today's world.
كأنني سمعت في أثناء العرض عن المصالحة بين الأديان، هل الأديان تتكامل وتتضافر ويكمل بعضها بعضا لتحقيق الحياة القيمية والحضارية للإنسان، أم أنها ربما تتصادم كما فهمت من خلال بعض ما جاء في هذا الفيلم؟
I think those who talked about a clash of religions or a clash of civilizations after September 11th were mistaken in their reading of history. And I think that societies prosper when they are open to outside influences, when they can learn knowledge from other civilizations as well as their own civilization. And I think that's one of the messages of the film. It's one of the messages of the civilization of Al-Andalus, which was open both to outside influences, particularly from ancient Greece, but also gave so much to Western civilization in terms of medicine and geography and science and grammar and poetry.
نترك المجال لبعض الأسئلة. فضيلة الشيخ تفضل. لو سمحت excuse me.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. محمد عبد الفتاح إسماعيل، وكيل وزارة الأوقاف بمصر. بشكر السيد جاكوب على الفيلم الذي شاهدناه وطالعناه، وأستطيع أن أقسمه إلى قسمين. القسم الثاني تحديدا كان قسما فيه شيء من الإنصاف. أما الجزء الأول من الفيلم فكانت فيه بعض الإسقاطات التي تبعث رسائل من وجهة نظري أنا كمتابع لم يكن فيها الإنصاف الذي كان موجودا في الجزء الثاني. فأستطيع أن أرد بسهولة ويسر على أن حياة اليهود في مصر بالصور الجميلة التي عرضها السيد يعقوب، وأنهم كانوا يعيشون في رغد من العيش وفي ظل الإسلام ومصر الإسلامية، فهذا أبلغ دليل على سماحة الإسلام واستيعابه للآخر. الرسالة الثانية والتي كانت في الجزء الأول أيضا أنه قال: أنا لا أدري لما غادر اليهود مصر في ظروف غامضة، وأنا أقول له مجيبا بسهولة: إن اليهود لم يغادروا مصر إلا في ظل الاستعمار البريطاني، فبإمكانك أن تسأل البريطانيين لما غادر اليهود مصر؟ هل غادروها بضغط من الإنجليز أم لانتقالهم إلى الوطن الموعود في فلسطين؟ الرسالة الثالثة: أنت تفتح حول مقابر اليهود القديمة بحرفية، ونقلت صورة أنا كمصري وكمسلم أشجبها وأرفضها، حيث أحيطت المقابر بالإهمال وبالنفايات والقمامة. لكن كان بإمكان اليهود الذين يبحثون عن رفاتهم في كل مكان ويبذلون الغالي والرخيص من أجل نقل الرفات إليهم أن يتعاهدوا تلك المقابر باعتبارها مقابر خاصة بهم، مع أن الحكومة المصرية، وهذا مشاهد وواقع، تحافظ بل وتحمي المعبد اليهودي. ومن أسبوع بالتمام والكمال صرحت سيدة فاضلة باعتبارها عميدة للجالية اليهودية في مصر أنها لن تغادر في مصر، بل ستظل فيها لما تجد فيها من راحة نفسية، وأن معها بعض النفر من اليهود وإن كان العدد قليلا إلا أنهم آسوا ألا يغادروا مصر وأن يبقوا في مصر. هذا في الحقيقة ما عندي، وشكرا.
شكرا. نجيب أولا، تفضل.
Thank you for your comment. First of all, this is not, what you saw was not the entire documentary. The film is 80 minutes long, and I showed 22 minutes. All of us had to show only part of our film so we could share this session with our other fellow filmmakers, and so that you would be able to see parts of 4 different films rather than seeing one whole film. We were requested by the organizers to do this, so clearly there were other parts in the film which you have not seen, but I'd be glad to provide you with a copy of the entire film. In the part of the cemetery, no place does it say, the script does not say, place any blame for the condition of the cemetery. All it says was that it's very sad that the cemetery has come to this, and I agree that the reasons that Jews left Egypt are very complicated and have to do also with British colonialism and the meddling of the British in the Middle East and the rise of the Israeli-Arab conflict after the Nakba after 1948. So that shouldn't be seen as an attack upon Egypt or the hospitality that the Egyptian people, especially in the Middle Ages, provided to the Jews during that time, as exampled by the life of Musa ibn Maimun.
مشكلة المدير دائما، مدير الجلسة، أنه يقع تحت سيف الوقت، وهناك الكثير من المداخلات التي ستثري، لكن دائما الوقت يهاجمنا ويحاصرنا. أنتقل إلى العرض الأخير، وإذا كان هناك أسئلة أو وقت في نهاية العرض إن شاء الله سنعطي المجال للجميع ليداخلوا على كل الأفلام التي عرضت. الآن أدعو السيد دانيال توتس من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية إلى تقديم عرضه أيضا، والذي يصب في موضوع حوار الأديان.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, peace and shalom. My name is Daniel Todd. I live in Washington, D.C., but I'm originally from Oregon. And I'm here to share with you a little bit about my organization, Unity Productions Foundation. We are an American-based media and educational foundation that I think is doing very interesting things in the media. For the last 10 years, we have produced 9 documentary films. These films have been seen by over 150 million people worldwide. They've aired on stations such as the BBC, Al Jazeera, but predominantly these documentaries have aired on PBS, which is public television in the United States. The overarching goal of our films, which tell the stories of Muslims in present and in historical contexts, is to shatter misconceptions, not by sharing not by sharing the educational aspects per se, but by sharing humanizing stories. What we've learned about how to break down prejudice, according to Robert Putnam in his book American Grace, is actually that education about religion does not necessarily equal a breakdown in prejudice, but forming relationships and humanizing the other is in fact the way to go. Our current film is something that we hope achieves this goal. It actually tells the story of a heroic Muslim woman who fought for the British during the Second World War, and she was a spy in France. She was raised in a Muslim household, but she still decided that the evil of Nazism was profound enough for her to take an action and to stand with the Allies. This film is called All That Remains, a story of Muslim heroism from World War II. We've also made a film called Prince Among Slaves, which talks about the role of Muslims in the transatlantic slave trade and really provides insight into the origins of Islam in America. Because Islam in America did not begin with the Immigration Act of 1965, but actually began at the very origin through the West African slaves, many of whom were Muslim. Filmmaking is not the only thing that we do. We also, as filmmakers, have opened up a resource center on the campus of USC in Los Angeles called Muslims on Screen and Television. The website is mostresource.org. And this has been a groundbreaking initiative seeking to work specifically with people that write television programs. And what we're seeking to do is offer television writers access not to simply make stories about Muslims more positive, but to make them more authentic. According to social psychologists, when you present an outgroup, a group that could be prejudiced against, in a homogeneously positive way, this reinforces stereotypes. But when you present an outgroup as they really are in an authentic manner, this actually can lead to more positive perceptions. And finally, the work that we do is using these films as a tool. And since this conference is talking about best practices, what we have learned is that by using these films and combining them with interfaith dialogue, that combination does two things. One, it reaches beyond the interfaith choir. It reaches secular folks, it reaches policymakers, it reaches people that may be averse to religion, let alone just Islam. And when combined with dialogue, it leads to a change in knowledge, attitudes, and perceptions. And we've had some of empirical studies of pre and post evaluation forms to gather some of this data. In closing, I think that the media is something that is the central way in which Americans form opinions of Muslims. According to USA Today, 65% of Americans claim they've never met a Muslim personally, which would lead us then to believe that the primary way in which perceptions are formed is vis-a-vis the media. So I'd love to offer our resources, our 9 films, to each and every one of you to use in your organizations to promote discussion, to promote dialogue. And at this time, I want to show you a trailer that encapsulates all of those films. Thank you very much.
شكرا. إذا نبدأ العرض.
Muslims come from every country in the world and speak every language in the world. Only about 15% of Muslims are Arabs, and of course not all Arabs are Muslims.
When we actually listen to the voices of a billion Muslims, what we see is that often the reality goes against what has become the conventional wisdom in this country.
This idea that they hate us because of who we are, which gained tremendous ascendancy in the immediate years after 9/11 and still holds sway in very large quarters of the American populace, is a very dangerous one. Because what you see from things like the Gallup poll is that that's actually not true at all.
So this poll provides a kind of an opportunity to take away all the nonsense that's been cluttering up the relationship and then get to the cut to the real core, which is the political tensions between these different societies.
People here are hungry for knowledge, for improving their lives, for just doing better things for their kids. There is so much for the West to share, but then yet you cannot share through the barrel of a tank.
by hearing the voices of ordinary people that we can engage the world based on facts, not fear.
Was bringing a moral, ethical, social message to his people that we're all in the same boat before God and we must treat each other well with compassion and justice and equity. This is how the ineffable, incomprehensible, utterly transcendent, indescribable God makes itself known to us.
I was born Abdul Rahman. My father was Soli, king of Futajalon.
I was sent to protect our pathway to the sea. We were ambushed, and my mane dropped like rain.
Today at the market, I purchased 2 Africans.
I tried to tell Mr. Foster that I was a prince in Africa.
A prince is not for sale at any price.
You weren't born in this country. No, I come from Africa.
Abdul Rahman was by African natural enemies torn from country, religion, and friends. May God enable him to obtain so much of the reward of his labors as they purchase the freedom of his offspring.
The 7th century Visigoth Bishop Isidore of Seville writes, "Of all the lands from the west to the Indies, you, Spain, O sacred and always fortunate mother of princes and peoples, are the most beautiful."
When there is diversity, there is, by definition, friction. But of course, if you eliminate diversity, wouldn't everyone be the same? There'd be no friction, but there'd be no creativity that results from that tension.
I think that we're fascinated by Islamic Spain because we project into it our own desires for a world where Jews, Christians, and Muslims, more or less got along. And I think we look at that and it's wishful thinking, that we wish that in the modern world the relationships were easier.
This was the first religious youths to come before in this particular board. They were agitated, and they were highly energized, and they were angry.
Anything happens to my children, and I will do everything in my power to make your lives a living hell.
Primarily, we heard from our other Christian communities that there was opposition in Voorhees, and so the Jewish community and the Catholic community then got on board.
And when I got home and walked in, of course my wife is Jewish, she said, "Well, what's it all about?"
I said, I'm going to help build a mosque.
I was surprised by the vehemence of the arguments. It was not just a one-meeting event.
Most people who called me didn't come out and say, I don't want this kind of religious building in my neighborhood. They didn't come out and say that, but they put things in terms of traffic issues and use and sight lines and lights and so forth.
Our objective is to make sure that they become better citizens, better neighbors, better friends, better relatives, because this is a character building, is the end result that we are trying to produce here.
After months of waiting, a Muslim group in southern New Jersey has finally won approval for a new mosque. Organizers of the project say the house of worship will help bring the community together.
I believe it's a challenge for the Muslim community to come forward, being in a minority, and work with the majority of the people to really make them understand what it stands for.
So many people, unfortunately, equate Islam with terrorism.
Why do I have to apologize for my religion?
It's not religion per se that separates people. Anything can be used to separate people when people have a mind to be separated.
Start tomorrow?
4 o'clock.
Okay.
So.
Hopefully the weather's good.
You constantly turn the TV on and you hear about this is what Muslims are doing and this is what Islam is. So how do I, as a Muslim living in America, go about changing that perception?
No, actually this goes in, right? No, I think it's all the way out.
There are a lot of different reasons for people to want to fly.
My dad was actually a commercial pilot for 36 years. And so it's always been a dream of mine to be able to do that.
You're becoming a pilot?
Yes, I am.
And you must be having trouble doing that. Yeah.
You're the only student, the only person who's come into my flight school so far where the FBI has showed up.
I'm just a person who's trying to go out and fulfill a dream. At the really core of what I'm doing, that's what it is. Flying just happens to be the dream that I have.
They hear a little voice in their head like, Susama! The only thing worse than that is the moment I have to get on the plane. People are in shock. I mean, seriously, they're in the middle of conversations like, so, where are you from? Where are you headed? Oh my God. I'm gonna die.
If we know the diagnosis, we can definitely medicate it. The medicine is olive oil. You got an ear infection? Olive oil. Like, Mom, it's not really helping. We have to boil it, that's why.
The United States is scared of two things: black people and Muslims. I got the best of both worlds.
Olive oil? You have any hummus?
You have no shame.
Of course, everybody's real nice to me once the plane safely lands. I thought you were gonna kill us. I'm sorry about that. Remember when we got up to go to the bathroom? I was gonna stab you.
شكرا جزيلا دانيال. كان في متعة أيضا في هذا العرض، متعة وتشويق. حقيقة المفروض الآن أن نكون في وقت الاستراحة، لكن سنأخذ من وقت الاستراحة بعض الوقت أيضا، ونأخذ 3 مداخلات. وأعتذر رجاء، أعتذر من الجميع، الكل لديه ما يعطيه ويسري هذا اللقاء، لكن الوقت يقطع علينا دائما هذه العلاقة الطيبة. أريد أن أخذ السيد ياسر المسروعي باختصار شديد لو سمحت. في 30 ثانية.
السلام عليكم. ياسر المسروعي من سلطنة عمان. حقيقة مداخلتي تنصب حول الحوار الملائكي الذي ابتدأناه من 3 أيام في هذا المؤتمر. أتمنى بعون الله تعالى من التوصيات ما يشيع جو هذا الحوار.
رجاء إذا في التوصيات تعطى لإدارة وأمانة سر المؤتمر. إذا في تعليق على الأفلام تفضل.
التعليق على الأفلام
تفضل.
مداخلتي تأتي مباشرة بعد مداخلة الأستاذة آيات أحمد، أنه إذا ما قام رجل على هامش ديانة معينة بالإساءة إلى ديانة أخرى فإنه لا يمثلها. مداخلتي تأتي أنه على الحكماء من تلك الديانة التي قام هذا المسيء بالإساءة فيها إلى ديانة أخرى أن يسارعوا إلى الاعتذار وإلى البراءة، ليس من الشخص نفسه وإنما من سلوكه، لأن في هذا ما يلطف نحن ننفق كثيرا من عواطفنا وننفق كثيرا في ردود الفعل.
شكرا. الصورة واضحة.
بارك الله فيكم.
شكرا جزيلا. تفضل لو سمحت الميكرو. أقل من دقيقة لو سمحت.
سؤال قصير جدا للسيد جاكوب الحنا كلداني من الأردن. سؤالي، إسرائيل كانت أمنية لكل يهودي أن يسكن بإسرائيل بعد الحرب العالمية بسبب الاضطهاد النازي لليهود في ألمانيا وباقي أنحاء العالم. اللي بيصير في إسرائيل هلا مع الجدار، اغتصاب الأرض الفلسطينية، العذاب بإسرائيل، هل يتمنى اليهود اليوم الطفل الأمريكي أو الشاب الأمريكي أن يعيش في إسرائيل؟ يعني من ناحية روحية وين أفضل اليهودي، يعيش في بلد آخر أو يعيش في إسرائيل؟ بالنسبة لك بنتك شفناها آخر الفيلم، هل تتمنى لها أن تعيش في إسرائيل أو تبقى في أمريكا حتى تعيش يهوديتها بحب الله أكثر في أمريكا أو بإسرائيل؟ شكرا.
السؤال الأخير لو سمحت تفضل بجوارك.
يعطيكم العافية. جمال السفرتي من الأردن. الحقيقة أنا أريد أن أوجه إلى الفيلم
سؤال. نعم تفضل.
نعم الفيلم قبل السابق، يعني أقترح أن يكون القسم الأول منه موجها إلى اليهود الذين أهملوا مقابرهم، والرسالة الثانية تكون موجهة لنا نحن بأن انظروا لأطفالكم، لبيوتكم، لأشجاركم، ولا تجعلوها من وراء ظهوركم. فقط ملاحظة في ربع دقيقة لو سمحت، بس فقط في ربع دقيقة. فقط في ربع دقيقة للست زلفى التي قالت إن الله جميل يحب الجمال. أنا اسمي جمال أيضا، ويعني من الهيبة بالنسبة لزي العلماء حقيقة هي هيبة وجمال وكمال أن ترى العمائم على الرؤوس، ولكن المهم أن تنظر إلى ما تحت هذه العمائم. وشكرا.
تفضل.
عاصم حفني، أستاذ الدراسات الإسلامية جامعة ماربورغ ألمانيا. سؤالي للضيوف الأمريكان عن الخطاب بالأمريكي.
لماذا لا أسمعك جيدا؟
تسمعني الآن؟
نعم.
السؤال للضيوف الأمريكان عن الخطاب الأمريكي الحالي تحت قيادة أوباما. وجدنا اختلافا ملحوظا في اللهجة والتعامل مع أو الخطاب تجاه المسلمين. أوباما يختلف عن سابقه بوش. هل كان لهذا الخطاب تأثير في الشارع؟ هل غير هذا الخطاب من صورة الإسلام والمسلمين عند الأمريكان؟ وشكرا.
مسيو بندر تفضل. تفضل. تفضل إجابة على السؤال. سمعت السؤال الأول. نعم.
I will try to answer your question. First of all, it's a mistake for Americans in general after 9/11 to have seen or to have tried to perceive all Muslims as one opinion. When you look at one community and imagine that they all agree with each other, I think that's a form of prejudice. Likewise, there are many different opinions within the Jewish community about Israel. Within my synagogue, there's virtually a split down the middle between those who want to support Israel and those, no matter what that state does, and those like myself who believe that we show solidarity with Israel when we criticize its policies of human rights abuses of the Palestinians and work for an end to the occupation of Palestinian land. Regarding my dear daughter, whose name is Dahlia, when she grows up, she will make up her own mind where she wants to live. And that is her right. But for myself,